In 2000, we bought an abandoned 100-acre farm in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. We spent years cleaning it up, built a new house, and now are trying to make it a functional homestead farm. Welcome to Red Tool House.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Red Tool House. We're inside again. It's raining and cold, so it's this time of year. But as promised, we said that today's video was going to be a review of our survey, our homesteading survey that we've had out there for a couple months. And again, I'm really excited with the amount of people that responded. We had a good response, and I really appreciate people taking the time to go through the survey. And while this may not seem exciting of a topic for homesteading, it's actually quite interesting to see where people are right now on their homesteading journey. And there's quite a few surprises that I found. So we closed the survey down Wednesday, and we have actually drawn the name of the winner, and I'll save that for last, and we'll announce that at the end. But I want to go through this, just jump right in, and we'll just go through the questions and share them. So got nifty little pie charts here that you guys can look at to help understand how this information came in. So the first question we had was basically, what best describes your current homesteading situation right now? And surprisingly, that 52% of you are in the developing plans of your homestead, but you're not on your property yet. So you haven't purchased your property. So 52% of the people that took this survey, what I consider our Red Tool House viewers, are not at the point of having property yet. So it's kind of an exciting time for half of our audience. They're planning, they're looking for land, they're getting all those details put together. So that's kind of neat to know. 33% are part-time homesteading with at least one off-farm job or off-homestead job. Well, that makes sense. That's, that kind of where we'd put ourselves in that category, that we have one off-farm job there. I like this though. 10.5% are you people just like to watch. So you're not planning on homesteading. You're just here to watch us do things, make mistakes. It's kind of a tie here with the fourth option, that 1.6% are part-time homesteading with the majority of the income coming from the homestead. So their homestead is generating a majority of their income, but still considered part-time homesteading. Then again, another 1.6% say they are full-time homesteading with all income coming from the homestead. So that's awesome. And then 1% of you are totally off-grid and have all the money you need for a long time. Question number 2. What is the minimum amount of land needed to homestead? And again, this is an opinion based. And it's interesting to see that the most popular answer was at 38% was 2 to 5 acres minimum. And I agree with that. I think you can do it on less than 2 acres. It just depends on what you define in homesteading. But it's kind of cool. I like this. 2 to 5 acres is a goal. And then of course, just right behind that at 30% was 6 to 10 acres. So I think you could do absolutely anything on 10 acres. I think with good management, you could have almost all the livestock. Cattle you'd have to get a little creative with, but I think you could do all of that on 10 acres. And again, it depends on the type of land. 10 acres in West Virginia, where we are, isn't as usable as 10 acres, say, maybe in Iowa, where you got flatter land. Third response was 15% of you said that you need 11 to 50 acres minimum. And then 10% of you thought that 1 acre is minimum, that you just need 1 acre to do that. And again, I got no problem with that either. I think that's very doable. And then 5% say that you need 50 or more acres. So this is one of my favorite questions. Question number 3 is, what animals do you currently raise or plan to raise on your homestead? So the vast majority, right at 90% of the people are saying that they either raise or plan to raise chickens for egg production. Which again, no surprise there. That seems like chickens are the gateway animal into the homesteading addiction. Then number 2 right behind that is chickens for meat, so your broiler chickens. And of course my personal favorite, pigs, number 3 at 63%. And if we hop down to cows, 42%. Again, we'd love to have cattle here. We've got to do some more land preparation to do that. But it was really interesting to see. We've got goats, rabbits, 37%, 35% turkeys, 39% goats. We had 19% sheep, 16% guinea, 10% quail, 11% horses. I call those hay burners, but to each his own. 8.5% donkeys. And then we had a lot of write-ins, and it was interesting. I won't go through all those, but we had a lot of write-ins. There were a lot of things like I didn't think of. One was pheasants, and of course, there was a lot of people that said pheasants. Some were talking about different types of fish, so kind of raising fish through fish farming or aquaponics type of thing. There was one person, and I hope this was a typo, that said he was planning on raising peasants. So I hope that was just left an H off, because you could get into trouble for trying to farm peasants. All right, our fourth question, probably no surprise here, but where do you find the most helpful information to learn more about homesteading? Well, again, we're polling our YouTube audience, so 84% of you say YouTube, so that makes sense. And then at 5% we had websites, just under 4% we had books, ebooks, and of course the various other options there, Facebook, neighbor or local homesteader. A lot of the write-ins were neighbors, family, those type of things is where they learned from. The number 5 question was just as interesting to me as the animals, and that was kind of choose the topics that you would like to learn more about for homesteading. But the number 1 that actually surprised me was building projects. And again, maybe thinking about how this survey is unfolding, that if more than 50% of the people are not on their homestead yet, then of course they know they have to build infrastructure, houses, barns, coops, fences, those type of things. So that's maybe why that makes sense. But I was surprised. 74% of people want to learn more about building projects. And fortunately, we're actually working on a lot of projects, building projects. We're working on videos documenting what we've done already with our barn, with our wood shop, and those type of things. But we are going to obviously cover the expansion of the barn. We're going to cover the expansion of the cabins and the infrastructure back at the retreat. So all that's going to come in. We're building a hoop house right now that's being documented. So we'll share all that obviously as we go along. Well, if you look around, what else do we have? Well, it's 67% how to earn income from the homestead. And gardening right behind that at 66%. And getting back to that income, that was what I was hoping to see pretty high, because I think deep down that's what all of us want to look at, is if we want a homestead, we want to make sure we can figure out a way to still pay for our homesteading expenses, especially if we're just moving to the homestead. If we're taking a pay cut, if we're quitting a job, or we're going to part-time status to start our homestead, then of course we want to supplement that loss of income with some income from the homestead. So yeah, I think this is important, and we're going to talk about that. In fact, we've got a lot of videos kind of teed up that we want to do. We want to cover some subjects talking about how to earn income from the homestead. And of course, not just saying, hey, I'm going to start selling this, so that's my income source, but actually how to market that, how to build that business. Again, you're relying on my daytime experience as a marketer. So yeah, looking at gardening, again, I'm right with you. I mean, I'd love to learn more about gardening. Kelly and I are really newbies when it comes to gardening, so we're excited. We've got big plans this year. So we'll see how those go. So maybe we'll be documenting a lot of garden failures there. Land management, earthwork, 63%. Absolutely, I think that's critical. So we'll have some topics about that. I actually have some guests that we're planning to bring in. Animal processing, the butchering. Again, good stuff there. We've covered chickens already, but we're going to hopefully expand our animal processing information as we get additional animals that we'll be processing on farm, or obviously get other people involved, or go visit other people that are processing and document that as well. Animal husbandry, of course, we cover a lot of pig and chicken raising here, so we'll continue to do that. Solar power, 62%. Again, I'd love to get into more solar power. The only solar we have right now on a homestead is our little tiny panel that's running our automatic chicken coop door, but we definitely want to get into more solar, and we'll probably have some of that back of the retreat as well. So yeah, anxious to get into that. Marketing homestead products, that kind of goes into earning an income, so it's good to see some good interest there. Cooking and recipes, I thought was interesting. Permaculture. I would love to soak up as much knowledge as permaculture as possible. I don't have a PDC. I'd love to take the time to do that. It's just a matter of finding the time, obviously, to go through that training. But yeah, I like to embrace as much permaculture principles as possible. Prepping, good, yeah, even 31% woodworking. Again, I do a lot of woodworking. I did a lot of woodworking, comment from the peanut gallery there. Did a lot of woodworking, need to get back into doing a lot more woodworking. So we may document some of that as well. The number 6 question is basically, what's your next large purchase to advance your homesteading goals? And again, as this unfolds, it's no surprise that the majority of people's next largest purchase, of course, is going to be land. So just under 50% of the people said that land is going to be their next purchase. We've talked about land buying. We've shared our experiences. We've got some land management guys that we're going to do some videos with as well. So we'll be getting into more of that. We discover how important that is. And there's a lot to say about land. There's a lot of things to look out for, and there's a lot of things to take into consideration when buying land. And land's expensive, and that is going to be your single largest investment for homesteading. So you want to do it right. So I don't blame everyone for wanting to get as much information as possible on buying land. Well, the other largest category was actually other. And there were a lot of different things, different pieces of equipment. I won't get into listing all those because there were quite a few actually, 37 to be exact. But again, after that, livestock, tractors, housing materials to building cabins or homes, solar, land improvements. All those came in at some decent numbers there. But again, the large majority there of people are planning to buy land. Number 7 really isn't as an important question. That was more for us to understand, as we wanted to ask you guys that watch our videos, how would you like us to see the channel evolve? And again, very happy with the results there. No big surprises. We'll continue to do a mix of kind of our how-to format, but then also do a little bit more vlog content as we get into some of these things. Again, not being a one-stop shop, this endless source of knowledge, that's not me. We do want to share our experiences and our failures. Again, I'd be a fool to create a bunch of videos to say this is how you garden, this, and this. When we get into those, there'll be more videos. This is how we're going to try to garden, and we'll let you know how it works out. So, number 8, I really appreciated this. Appreciate people taking the time to answer this question, because that helps me understand, it helps Kelly and I understand, I have a tendency to ramble. So how much rambling do I need to do, or how little rambling do I need to do? So that question was, what's the ideal length of time you would like to see a Red Tool House video be? And 52% of you said 11 to 20 minutes, and which I like, because that's actually where I try to hit. Sometimes my videos go long. Sometimes I know we've got a couple of 30-minute videos out there, which is like, whew, people really want to sit and watch me for 30 minutes. And then sometimes, if we're just doing a quick snippet, I wonder, do people even take the time if we're doing a 3 or 4 minute video? Is that enough to even get somebody to click on that and say, well, yeah, I don't know if I'm even going to, I'm not really getting into something here. I'm not sure I'm going to watch that. But 50% of you said 11 to 20 minutes. Then 30% said 6 to 10 minutes. So if we shoot that goal of 6 to 20 minutes is what we're trying to do with all of our videos, then we're accommodating 82% of your all's requests. So so that'd be great. 15% of you says, ramble on, Troy, 20 minutes or more, go for it. I appreciate you all hanging in there if that's really the case. Again, question number 9 was more for us, looking at ways we obviously, I won't apologize for, of course, trying to generate revenue with our homestead. We look at it as an investment. The more we want to do on the homestead, all these things we want to do, of course, cost money. And so in effort to do this, to produce the channel, to buy the camera equipment, to buy all the hard drives to keep our video content saved, obviously there's expenses involved there. So I appreciate, again, you're all answering these questions as to if we were to offer, and I'm not saying we are, but if we were to offer fee-based elements, what would you all be most interested in? And instructional videos. Again, you guys watch the channel, you're used to video format, you're used to me being in front of a camera. That makes sense. So it looks like 65% of you said that would be fine. 43% ebooks, another 43% online courses, 35% consultations, and 35% webinars. 26% all of the above, and then of course 21% wouldn't be interested. Again, that's great. That's great feedback that we get. And the last question is, how important is learning to earn money on your homestead in order to achieve your homesteading goals? And again, it was just simply one of those things. To us, it's very important to find a way to generate some revenue on the homestead, simply because homesteading, it can get expensive when you start getting into this equipment and start setting up to do things. We know modern homesteading involves the need to pay taxes and all those type of things, so there has to be some income coming there. So I was really curious to see what you all thought. Is it extremely important to know how to do that, to have those revenue streams. And again, so kind of a nice even spread here that 34% of you say, well, it's important. It's not the end of the world, but it is important. 22% say it's critically important, and then a 24% say it's somewhat important. So if you'd add all those up together, you're looking at 70, almost 80% of you say, yes, that is something that's important to know, with about 18, less than 20% of you saying, yeah, not that big a deal. So that really helps us understand if we do some videos talking about how to earn money on the homestead from our experience and from other people's experience. It gives us an idea of what kind of interest people would have in that. Okay, so who won the StormTech Parka? Good question. We randomly chose from all of our entries, all the people that left us their email address to say, hey, I want to be included in the drawing for the Parka. And the winner is Joe Harrell. And I don't know where Joe lives because, again, all I have are email addresses. And the only way I know even his name is because it happens to be embedded in his email. So we've reached out to Joe. Hopefully he'll respond within 3 days. And if not, we'll have to come back and draw somebody else. But congratulations, Joe. Again, thank you for taking the survey, and we'll get your Parka to you soon. Well, again, we hope everybody enjoys these videos. I know this time of year where we're inside and we're not outside doing stuff, to me it seems like it may be a little anticlimactic. We're hoping we're keeping it somewhat engaging for you all. Really appreciate everyone that watches. If you like these videos, just give them a thumbs up. Again, that helps other people find us. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. I had a person tell me today they've been looking for me for months because they watched a video, neglected to subscribe, and been trying to find me but couldn't remember the name of my channel, and then she found me today and subscribed. So be sure to subscribe. That way you just get notifications when we have new stuff coming out. And be sure to check us out on social media, especially Facebook, facebook.com/Red Tool House Farm. All right, take care, everybody.